Hi, my name is Ulas, and I'm joining you from Brussels today. And I'm very excited to show you about the demand planning in supply focus. This will be a combination of a short presentation and a live demo. So I'll quickly get into the presentation. Let me share my screen quickly. And then once that's ready, we'll move straight away to the demo. Okay, so if you've seen my presentation from the morning, actually an hour earlier, that might be a little bit of a quick repetition, but just want to give a quick introduction of supply focus. So typically, TM1 is a well-known enterprise performance management solution for the Office of Finance, and probably many of you are using for that purpose. But we are here to prove otherwise, if you are a strong believer of TM1 is only for finance, and that's what we're going to show you today, that it can actually be quite useful fit for your operational planning of for your supply chain management. And that's one of the sessions today on demand planning. So in a nutshell, supply focus is a bespoke solution for supply chain management that enables organizations to get most value throughout their planning, analysis, and reporting processes. That's, I think, the simplistic way to put it in. The highest level, as you can see, demand planning, merchandise planning, supply planning, production planning. So all the processes within supply chain management. But today we'll be specifically focusing on the demand planning side. One of the main reasons this is a bespoke solution is because obviously all these processes are very different in every industry, but also in every company, even if it's in the same industry. So there are less similarities, less standardizations on each of these processes. That's why it's not an out-of-the-box product, but it's more of a custom-tailored solution for your needs. So if you think about a planner's world today for a moment, there's so much data to deal with, so much complexity, problems around data, so many sources, inconsistencies, and so on. So it simply takes a lot of time to prepare a high quality data, a clean data to work with. It's also often very granular, depending on the business you're in. Think about all the SKUs, all the stores, all the customers, suppliers, and combine all that to be able to identify your planning level. There are many data points, if you think about it. So in most cases, it's a big effort. And the process is often very repetitive, right? So like monthly, weekly, or even daily level sometimes. So when you have to deal with a high volume based and a frequent exercise, I can imagine this can become quite easily troublesome. And don't be surprised, this is also often very manual. Like a lot of companies still dealing with a lot of manual data collection. The planner's times goes into data collection, quality checks, error handling, bottom-up planning, Excel's crashing. So like lots of things that goes into this process. So it's very time-consuming as well. So what does CubeWise has to offer here? Well, we designed the supply focus product with 4 main principles: flexibility, speed, collaboration, and user experience. We believe in empowering users and therefore providing the necessary flexibility, speed, and a collaborative platform with an intuitive user experience is the best way we can add the most value. So if you go a little bit more in detail, experience and expertise, we have an extensive domain expertise in the supply chain management area. So over the years, we've built many proven models, not maybe under the supply focus umbrella, but separately. We've built many proven models for our small to large customers tackling their day-to-day business problems. And then we use the right technology for the right job. We believe we're leveraging the most suitable software in the market for this purpose. And we also proudly claim to have a great deal of technical know-how, as we've been active with TM1 over the past years. And I'm sure you've been witnessing that for a long time. Agile, agile, agile. So we favor small, smart teams who can think fast, act fast, deliver fast, despite all the challenges and changes happening around the organization. Obviously, it's important to onboard key people in the organization to the core team, so that the outcome is what you desire. But on the other hand, we don't believe in this case more is better. And surely it doesn't always mean it's faster as well. We have the mentor, or train the trainer mentality. So we have a culture of building TM1 champions. If you're not one yourself, you might have also witnessed this in your organization, that someone has been implemented a love of TM1. And as long as you're on board, as long as you're willing to learn, we are willing to teach you everything we know about the technology. So you can take it further than what we have provided. And then develop it, it's like yours. We make sure to deliver high quality solutions like we would use it ourselves. I think that's the best way to put it in. Like if you're using it yourself, then you put an extra care into the process. And then user experience. I think our consultants in most cases have been in your shoes. So we understand the requirements from a functional and emotional level. One of the key elements of implementing user experience is, or a high user experience solution, is empathy. And it's really about listening the end users, understanding their problem, why they suffer, what they suffer from, and then think like them and design your solution with all this considered. So yeah, and then if you talk about the overall benefits a little bit, we categorize it in three different, but essentially the blueprint technology is the stuff that you probably might be aware, like the technology like TM1 and all up. There's obviously a lot of many advantages of this technology. Its ability to process large data, volume with good performance, flexibility. There are loads of assets within supply focus, so small assets that you can take away. There are defined workflows or business processes, so which adds a lot of value to any implementation process. From a reporting and analytics perspective, ability to visualize data and build ad hoc reports and dashboards, flexible metadata management, such as building custom product hierarchies or customer hierarchies for different part of the division, so that they can have that local needs and so on. Ability to utilize predictive insights like demand sensing or decision optimization mechanism, and available on all devices as well. So just build once and use in every device logic, basically. So you don't have to tailor it for mobile phones or tablets. And obviously, you've seen it, I guess, many times with Slice, Buffet, like a mature Excel integration to endorse the usage of Excel for ad hoc analysis, ad hoc reporting, planning, and so on. So from a planning perspective, there are different methodologies available, such as top-down, bottom-up, driver-based planning. But one of the unique ones is the exception-based planning that we focused on, and this is what we'll see now as well. So coming up with a base plan fed by the driver-based planning, and then adjust where you need it. And then smart allocations powered by advanced analytics, or planning new products, leveraging again advanced analytics like for like algorithm, which finds the best match for existing products, for new products, by matching them to the existing products based on their attribution, their price points, and many other related information. So this is the overall process in supply focus. It starts from a predictive analytics and moves on to the demands, where we plan at a higher level by season, by product group and region, and then we allocate to the weeks and SKUs, and then it flows into the inventory management, supply and production planning processes. So what I will show today is the highlighted boxes, But if you're keen on the rest of it, my colleague Alice will be presenting the production planning at 3:30, and Mathilde will be presenting the supply planning, which are essentially all the boxes in the second and third row. Yeah, so this is pretty much what I wanted to show from the presentation. Let's quickly move on to the application. So let me. Okay. Yeah, so this is Applico UX. Supply Focus is using Applico UX on top of IBM Planning Analytics. And the reason for that is, well, because we can do a lot more with it. It has more capabilities. You can build consistent user experience with this. So just the possibilities is the main driven to our choices. And you can customize, as you see. So this is now the corporate identity of Supply Focus. But yeah, you can just apply your own organization's corporate identity. And in Hackathon, I think an hour ago or now, we have started to customize the UX. So if you're interested in, you can also see how it's that, how that's done in an application side as well. So it starts with a homepage, but this is an application. As you can see, like there's multiple applications here. So you can obviously, there's a menu and you can give the right access to the right profiles, and they can access to the certain part of the application. In this case, we see a bunch of modules here: demand planning, merchandise planning, and supply, and scorecards, and so on. There are some admin or business admin pages as well, so which you can kind of have it here. So global parameters, where you can kind of maintain the current month, current week, or like the currency rates, metadata management, version scenario management, and so on. And then some other basically admin, pure admin stuff, where like you can kind of talk about localization if you want to translate it to other languages, or security, or documentation, and so on, and like regular maintenance of the system, or user statistics, like who has been using it, and so on. So there's lots of opportunities. And then we'll straight go into the demand planning. So this is a company who does sell fashion products. It's a fashion retailer selling basically daywear, nightwear, underwear, and accessory products for women, men, kids. They operate on a season-based model. So every season is like winter, autumn, spring, summer. So it's 6 months each season. And responsibilities are spread across region. So region being a lower level of continents. And then, yeah, this is pretty much the overview. And here I can basically build like a custom welcome page with, user information, a specific message to the users, important KPIs. Like in this case, we're looking at the main regions. So Asia, Europe, America, Australia. And then here we have like the main categories and total. So demand versus last year. So latest forecast. A simple table looking at basically variances visually, and also some informative information as well, like when is the next submission date, and so on, and some other kind of text. And then the process is defined, split into 3 separate processes, which is by channel. So our own stores, the brick and mortar, our own digital channel, so .com, and our wholesale customers. So all have different nature of business, and their planning process also differ. That's why we have split it into 3 different processes. If it doesn't matter for you in your organization, obviously this could be combined into one step. It doesn't have to be like this, but this is just to highlight that you can accommodate such differences. And then there's a total view and a workflow. So what we will do is, and obviously this is all kind of next guided application. So you don't have to have a high knowledge about the system. So every process here is then defined with the standard sub-processes. So it's starting with a performance review, and then there's a bunch of other steps here. that the planner needs to go. You can obviously limit them to go certain steps and they can't go to others based on security, but you can also limit them to go one step at a time. So I can't jump from performance review to demand planning. So I have to go to steps before. Like you can customize the steps to be limited to that purpose. So, and then here you can basically look into the data and analyze, drill down where's the changes driven from. So this is performance review. So basically we are looking at how well we did last year versus this year versus last year. And then you can obviously dive into all the details within the product hierarchy. So our product hierarchy is a custom group level. So it's basically daywear and then adults, kid, baby, then goes into gender, woman, and then goes into product families, t-shirts, dresses, jackets, sweaters. So here you can have all the kind of levels, and then you can obviously investigate the differences by drilling down from the charts or from the grids as well. So same here. In this case, we have a bunch of icons assigned for every level, but here you can also obviously drill down up and down at every level. So that's kind of very intuitive. You can also do cross drills here. So for example, from daywear, I want to look into other region, then I can have basically access to other regions. Whereas from underwear, I want to cross drill to another dimension. In this case, I don't, but I'll just drill down to the metrics, and then you can kind of view it differently. So this kind of gives you a little bit of a possibility to make quick analysis from different angles. And then you can obviously build different visualizations here. Yeah, like depending on what sort of visuals or data you want to set up. And then let's go to, for example, my responsibility area, like Western Europe and daywear. And then in the prediction review, like what I wanted to show here is, this is, we have implemented a bunch of standard time series algorithms. In this case, we have Facebook profit, ARIMA, and neural profit. So this is standard time series algorithms running on a weekly basis, taking the last 3 to 5 years of history, and then projecting 6, 12, or 15 months, depending on what I define, on a weekly level. So this is what you see in this kind of example. And then obviously you can kind of manage this in two different ways. Either we kind of load the actuals overnight and the whole prediction algorithm is run, so the users just see the results, or users can also see, like, interact with it, especially when you make it more parameterized. So for example, in this case, let's clear one of the examples. Basically, you can do it per region, per product group, per season, or per algorithm. Let's kind of quickly clear this. So the neural profit will be kind of gone. Yes. And then I can now, as a user, run the demand prediction again for a specific product group, specific region, season, and I can choose the available models. And this doesn't have to be limited to this, right? So this is what we currently have, but we're continuously adding more and more models. So here, what it's doing is it's now connecting with Python via TM1Py and then running the algorithm, and then kind of based on the historical data, it's giving me a kind of trend of the future months, future weeks. And then this obviously also runs for historical weeks as well, where I have actuals, and I can kind of compare here, like look, basically zoom in and like, look, how is it different? Like, does it capture the right spikes? Does it capture the seasonality? So I can basically zoom in and kind of look into the details where we have, or I can also check variances by week. So for, I have like by week, all the, for the whole season, I can see the sales quantity, and then I can have all the models and compare them. Where does it differ a lot, right? So the more difference there is, that means it's less accurate during those weeks. But it's also important for me to see, does it, is that a low accurate week because maybe it just missed a spike and it's happening in next week. So if you go a level above to the month, maybe the accuracy will increase. So that's one way to look into the accuracy. And then you can obviously look into the prediction model accuracy. This is a simple KPI comparing forecast versus actual, but then there's also mean average error, mean average percentage error, or the RMSE, like the KPIs IBM presented in the morning Australian time. So these are all the ways you can look at it. So in this case, the lower it is, the better for your accuracy. And in this case, the higher it is, the better for the accuracy. In this case, like for season 19.1, this is the most accurate one. But that doesn't mean it will be the same accuracy in the future years, right? Because we don't know what future will bring. So the idea is that the users get the kind of power of interacting with such models, and then select the ones that they want to use. And then obviously here you can see per product group, which is a long list, and then per region as well, who have chosen which model. It is color coded, just as in the chart. So you can kind of have a quick view on, okay, which planners or which regions are using which models. And then obviously this is taking the historical data, but what if there are years like COVID or exceptions or outliers? Then how do we manage that? Then we go back to the historical data cleaning. We could probably name that better, but the purpose of this is to identify anomalies. So there's like a report that you can kind of run, and I identify those anomalies. So if I go all the way top, like it kind of highlights all the differences, then I can kind of check. In this case, for example, footwear is showing consistent change. So I can filter footwear and look at individually here. Yes, there has been a big gap between actuals versus last year every week. So it's something for the planner to investigate whether that's acceptable or an exception. But here, like we have kind of a rule that identifies all the gap or all the anomalies, which is more than 70%. That's the kind of tolerance that we have set here. So anything more than 70%, then I would see this is as highlighted. And then I can go in here and adjust my actuals. And as I adjusted, like in here, for example, the sales is 2,600, but the last year was 1,400. And if I make this maybe 1,500, then it's no longer different. And as I adjusted, like I see on this chart, right, what sort of adjustments I made versus my historical data. So this could be like the events that they happened last year, and that event boosted your sales significantly high, but you know in this year it won't happen. So you might want to normalize that data for that week so that the prediction takes the adjusted sales and not the actual sales. So this is more or less it. And then I'm just being conscious of the time, and there's a little bit more I wanted to show. So then this feeds into the demand planning. In this case, the demand planning is by product group and by region and by season. I have all the information that I need here. So what I can do here is like I have kind of value-based metrics, price, percentage, all the discounts, returns, but I'm not interested in those at the moment. I'm just going to look at the demand prediction, which flows from the previous tab, and the adjustments that I make on top of it. And then I have the demand, which is a sum of it. So I'll quickly kind of get rid of the rest. So I simplify the view. You can easily kind of hide and show everything from this column. And then what I want to do is basically look at, I'm looking at, for example, product group. I could kind of, deep dive and open all the hierarchy, or I could just kind of change subsets here. So if I, for example, the all elements that's already opened, like I can just look in here, it's all good. I could simply search here, kits or kit, and then I kind of, this scans the whole table. So anything that it's a kit, it's kind of found here. So you can quickly do that. You can obviously create your own custom subsets and then utilize that as well. So in this case, I have all the lowest level, and I just want to look at it. I can enable Excel-like filters, and here like apply multi-level filters. So in this case, I have 4 categories, but I just want to filter, let's say daywear, which is a large category. And then I go and say like, okay, let's stick with baby. And then you see like, as I do this, it's getting filtered. And then maybe I just want to say here, jacket, right? And then this is all I have. And then obviously you can plan this way, or you could kind of just select this and run a UDC, which is a kind of user-based formula. So I'll just say kind of demo horizon And this, what it does is basically it creates a personalized rollup for me, so I can quickly work it. So let me quickly refresh the selection. Then here I should have the demo horizon. It says temp because I selected temporary, so I can say whether I want it to be permanent or temporary. Temporary ones gets, regularly deleted, and then you can basically plan this. And then what you do is you kind of apply adjustments to this. Right? So for example, if I don't believe 47,000 is good enough, then you can make that 50K, or you can make that this one 13K, and that adds up to 63. But I'm not actually happy with this. I'll just make this 65. So you can also do like top down. You don't always need to work on the lowest level. So you kind of basically just make your adjustments and so on. So this is more or less how we can do it. And as you adjust the things, then you can also quickly zoom in here just to be able to see what sort of adjustment you make here. So I obviously doubled the demand just to be able to show quickly. But yeah, this is pretty much how you can do it in a demand planning. And then as you go more, like there's more capabilities like what if analysis. So what you see here is something is wrong here. Yeah, so
you just need to be mindful of the time. Time's almost up.
Yeah, so just conclude this. I mean, this is basically on top of base plan. You can create your scenarios, top, bottom, COVID, and then quickly do top-down adjustments and then compare those scenarios base to top and so on. So this is more or less the capability. So sorry for running out of time. I thought it would be sufficient, but yeah, there's a little bit more, but I guess maybe next time.
I see there's no questions from the floor currently. Maybe I'll just ask one from my side. So currently I can see that the prediction was based off historical sales, but would we be able to feed the model with any more information?
Yes, definitely. I mean, these are standard time series models, which is purely taking your historical data. As we had a chat with Hisham on this conversation, so you can definitely build more custom models with machine learning, and you can kind of teach all those learnings, whatever is it that you're teaching. You can incorporate weather data or consumer data into the model. Like it doesn't have to be internal as well. So you can kind of collect external data that's impactful to your business, and then slowly incorporate it. But that obviously is more of a journey and more customized algorithms, versus these are more like a plug and play, or like take it and then check the accuracy. If it's useful for you, then start using it and then slowly get more advanced with it.
Thank you, Ulas. Really appreciate it. I think it's given us some good insight. I don't know if you have any closing remarks.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening and watching. This was Demand Planning from Supply Focus.